Do you have a fourth grader? Because I just homeschooled my fourth grader this year, and I would love to share all about what we did for fourth grade. If you're new here, my name is Aileen. This is Homeschool with the Clarks. I share about homeschool and motherhood and some home cooking stuff. And I just love sharing about homeschooling with my community here on YouTube. Fourth grade. Fourth grade was fun. It was challenging and it had a lot of changes. So let's start with talking about English. Last year in third grade, she wrapped up Logic of English Foundations. And this year, I just wanted to continue to work on the phonics skills and the spelling skills. And so the way that we did that is we used Explode the Code workbooks. She did workbook number 5 and workbook number 6 this year and was just flying through those. We also started the sequential spelling program, which was a really big hit. It comes with like a teacher manual, which is like $12 or $18. It's very inexpensive. I got it on Rainbow Resource. And then it also has a student book, which is optional. I did buy the student book thinking that she was going to do it. So basically it's got a space for each word. There's 25 words you do each day. And then on the back is like some kind of a workbook page to practice the words. So like fill in the blanks, crossword, that kind of thing. She hated it. She hated the workbook pages. She gave me such a hard time about it. There was something about drawing in the workbook, writing the words in there that she really gave me a hard time with. We switched to a whiteboard and that flowed better. She does have dysgraphia, which affects handwriting. So that might be a piece of it, or I don't know. It's one of those things, right? You try something and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it depends on the kid. My first grader is a total workbook kid, so I feel like she would love the workbook pages, but my fourth grader, not so much. So that was easy enough. I just dropped the workbook. We just stopped using it and we just did it on whiteboards. And the way that it works is I have 2 different colored markers, and every day you're working on like a word family or a couple of word families, and you're adding different prefixes and suffixes. And so I write the base word with one color and I write the prefixes and suffixes with another color. And so I'll say the word and she doesn't see my whiteboard. So I have like a stand-up whiteboard that I use. She writes her word down. And then if it's incorrect, I just say, check your work with a smile on my face, and I turn it around and she can edit her word to make sure that it's spelled correctly. And there's something about the visual of the 2 colors that's really helpful to be like, oh, that's right, it's this word family. And that just clicked for her. The word family thing, spelling is really hard for her, and spelling with the word families was a huge hit. I wish I had gotten to it more because I feel like she could have had even more success if we had done it 4 or 5 days a week, but it ended up only being 2 to 3 days a week. Because, well, first of all, she goes to enrichment classes on Fridays, so we don't do our core subjects on Fridays at all. And then if we added in a field trip, then that's only 3 days of school. And maybe one of those days we didn't get to spelling and we just did her math and did the other things. So I didn't get to it every day. I wish I had, but I didn't. It is what it is, but it was very, very successful for her and rewarding for me to be able to spend this time with her and teach her and see her actually like make gains and watch that little light bulb go off and have her be like, wow, I can spell, it just gave her that confidence that she needed. So that was really great. So the other thing we did for English in the beginning of the year was IEW All Things Fun and Fascinating, which is their theme-based composition book. And the way that it works is they have 2 different like roads that you can take for teaching writing with IEW. One is they do like video-based lessons and you like watch the recording. And I tried that with my older child and the videos were just too long for him. He got distracted. And so we ended up doing the theme-based books. And so we did that with her as well. But then you also have to do like this teacher training. And I struggled with it a little bit this year for a couple of things. One, it was very teacher intensive. And so it was the thing that I was like pushing off and not getting to with her. We did do it a little bit and she did do speech to text. So doing her writing on the computer and then editing it. And she was successful with that. So she did write some paragraphs this year, which I was happy with, but we just didn't get to it. And I don't know. I don't think it's the right program for her. So I don't know. It just, we didn't do it really a lot. We got through like the first 2 units and that was it. So one thing that she did end up doing that we really liked though was Evan Moore's Draw Then Write. So her younger sister was in the earlier, it's like broken up like lower elementary and upper elementary. They don't have one for every school year, unfortunately. So I got her the upper elementary Draw Then Write, and it's like you spend 3 days learning how to draw some kind of like little animal or character like a turtle, and you're writing about the turtle. It builds onto itself. So she draws the picture, and then maybe the first day is fill in the blanks, and the second day is write a sentence, and the third day is like write a paragraph. It wasn't as, I really like the lower elementary one. I felt like it was better done as far as like breaking down the steps. The older one just assumed they already knew how to write paragraphs, and she wasn't really quite there yet. She was writing, but she was writing little stories about them. So I was happy with that. And so she did that. She enjoyed it. She did it every single day. And so we just kind of called that her writing this year. We did also do some copy work and some things like that. And so that's how it ended up going for her composition. The other piece of language arts that we did was Blossom and Roots level 4 language arts. And we did this family style. And so we did the novel studies. We didn't do like the spelling and phonics piece that's incorporated in there, but we did the novel studies and the copy work, and we did some of the questions and notebooked about them. And that was a huge hit for her. We really liked the books. So we did that as well. I highly recommend level 4 Blossom and Root. Before we move on to math, if you're liking this video, could you please go ahead and hit that like button? Thank you. Math was a big change for us this year. We started out the year with Zern, which is an online free math program that we used for 3rd grade. And she was very successful in 3rd grade. 4th grade, she got really frustrated with it. It was going too slow for her, and she was just annoyed with it. And it was a daily battle. She didn't want to do it. And so what I ended up doing, because I'd already switched her 1st grade sister when she finished her 1st grade level math, I moved her to Simply Good and Beautiful Math 2. So I ended up just getting her Simply Good and Beautiful Math 4 partway through the year. I talk about this in my mid-year update, but that has been really successful. I think she has 5 lessons left that will just finish at the beginning of 5th grade. But she did participate in state testing this year, and her math scores like went way up. So I don't know. I'm happy with it. I feel like it was a really good change for her. She needed a break from writing out the math problems and did occupational therapy this year and really worked on that. And so now her number formation is much better. And we also incorporated graph paper to work on the problems. And I don't know, it's working really good for us. So yay for finding a math program that works for us. Zern met our needs for a while. So let's talk about like her enrichment pieces. She did a lot of different things this year. The first thing let's talk about is like the arts. So for piano, she has taken in-person piano lessons in the past, but we did not do piano lessons this year. We used Hoffman Academy for piano, and we just used their free version, and that was a good fit. I am toying with trying their paid version next year. It's just so expensive if I want to get it for every kid. So that's what's like, I haven't jumped in and done it yet. If you have used the paid version and you have thoughts on it, please let me know. But I really like the free version. I've been using it myself as well. So she's been slowly working through Hoffman Academy. I have her just do it a couple days a week, and that's been a success. We did also purchase an art program for her this year, which was Art with a Purpose. And I've talked about this on and on tons of my videos, how that was not a fit. So I'm not going to dig into that too much. But for art, what we did was a lot of watercoloring. She did a lot of crafting. She's been taking sewing classes at our local like fabric store, which has been phenomenal. So she's like sewing all the things. She got a sewing machine for her birthday last year, and it's been great. So she's sewing, she crafts a lot. So I didn't really worry too much about her not doing that art project or the art program. She's all about like hot gluing and making things and creating things. And so she's been doing that. And then as far as like sports, my kids do tend to do some kind of a sport year round. She did gymnastics in the fall, and that was a good fit, but she says she's not going to continue with gymnastics. We're maybe going to go back to dance next year. And then she played Little League baseball this spring, which is why my videos kind of fell off the deep end for a few months because I had 3 kids in Little League. She did play down. If you're familiar with Little League, they have like single A, double A, triple A. Technically, and then like majors, junior majors. Technically, she was AAA aged, but we kind of pleaded with the board to let her play down to AA so she could be on the same team with her sister. And that was like amazing. I feel like it was like a gift from God. Their relationship bloomed so much because they, you know, they're really close in age and they bump heads a lot, but being on the same Little League team, like the team mom like sent me pictures of them with like their arms around each other and snuggling in the dugout, and just so much growth as being a sister and like being there for your sister. And it was tricky, right? They were all the only girls on the team, and she did play last year, so she had already kind of been through that, but they were the only girls on the team, and she did so good. She did so good. I don't know if she'll play next year. Last year she said, I'm never playing again, and then she signed up this year. So we'll see if she wants to do it next year. Her brother will continue to do it, and that's kind of why we keep them in Little League, because one year I did 1 kid in softball and 1 kid in Little League, and their games ended up being at the same time at parks like across town from each other, and it was just so hard. So now it's like at least their games are in the same area and I can walk back and forth between. So that was really good. I saw success. She got some exercise. She learned how to be a good teammate and those pieces, which is something we're constantly working on, is just being a team player and boosting each other up. I keep telling her like there's room for everyone at the top. We can encourage other people and still be proud of ourselves. So we worked on those skills. And the last thing that she did this year was Girl Scouts. And this was her 5th year in Girl Scouts. She started Girl Scouts in kindergarten as a daisy. And so she did her first year of juniors this year. And it's a mixed age group. So it was like daisies all the way to juniors. Her sister was a daisy this year and bridge to brownies at the end of the year. And she finished her first year of juniors, and she'll do 1 more year of juniors. So that was really, really good. They didn't meet that often. It was like twice a month, but they had some fun activities involved, and it was good for her to just have a social group that was the same all year, if that makes sense, especially because we homeschool, because she's not getting as many opportunities, right? If you homeschool, you don't have as many opportunities to make friends. So as her mom and her homeschool mom, it's my job to make sure that she has those opportunities to be around other kids her age and have the opportunity to interact with them and make friends. And so Girl Scouts really helped us with that. We are involved with a kind of like a social-based co-op as well. So she does make friends through that as well, and sports and all those things, but it was just really good. So 4th grade was a good year. It was a challenge, but we did it. On to 5th grade.